Thank you and welcome to another episode of Madmensports podcast. To my left, we have Diamond Dave. Diamond Dave, how are you today?
Man, I'm good. Allergies are kicking my butt. I'll take any advice you got to get rid of these things.
You know what? I think Claritin should work.
I've taken way too much of that.
Oh.
Maybe you're immune to it now.
No.
How are your kidneys feeling, bud?
I don't even think I have kidneys anymore that work.
Perfect.
So if you're willing to donate kidneys to the Madman podcast, please do so.
Please.
I don't know what we do with it. Donate to a hospital. Then we'll find Dave and get Dave to the hospital.
Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. We had a great sunny weekend here in Buffalo. I am as red as an apple. But that's all right, because that means I was outside all weekend, and I can't help it.
Exactly. Good. Hey, man.
Jake, how are you doing this weekend?
I'm doing well. Did some fishing. Unfortunately, didn't have any luck, but, there's always next weekend.
You got to find the right spots.
Yeah, if anyone has any good fishing spots, please let me know.
I need a job that gets me off on the weekends. That's what I need.
Speaking of getting off, the Bills broke from the OTAs this past week, and they kind of, in kind of review of OTAs, I thought it went really well. I had a lot of great things coming out of OTAs. Jake, what was the biggest thing that stuck out from OTAs for you?
I just think the kind of continuation of Josh Allen's development. I know he was working a lot over the offseason, and he looked good, so per the reports, so fingers crossed for him.
Dave, how about you? What was a big takeaway from OTA buzz that you really take with you?
The offensive line. I heard the offensive line's improving, and we're getting some continuity in there. Hopefully getting some holes for the running backs this year.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing that I take away from training camp right now is the laundry list of injuries that we kind of accumulated. I mean, everyone always kind of says this kind of habitually, but hopefully they got them out of the way now, so you don't have to worry about them during the season.
Yeah, luckily our biggest free agent acquisitions have recovering from injuries. So Mitch Morris and Cole Beasley, they were coming off an injury, so it's not like they re-aggravated that.
If you were to have them in the training room at all, it'd be in recovery mode rather than a newbie,
Yeah.
So, it's start of the new week. What's one of the biggest news headlines that you guys saw this week? Jake, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so it looks like actually the NFL Network is doing a football life on Bruce Smith, so that's pretty exciting. Dave, you remember watching Bruce Smith play, huh?
I do. Last one they did was on Thurman Thomas, and Bruce Smith will be just that much better. When he retired, he was the lead leader in sacks. Actually, I think he was behind Reggie White.
He's actually still the all-time sack record holder for the NFL, which is awesome.
Perfect. Shows that he's a Hall of Famer, which he is, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He earned that gold jacket 110%.
Yeah, Bruce Smith was a beast back in the day in the 90s, and then he regrettably didn't retire as a Bill, he retired as a Redskin. But he was a monster. He made everyone on that line better, from Phil Hansen to Jim Jeffcoat to everyone on the linebacker core, which was great back then. When we had Bennett and Darryl Talley, he was also in Little Giants.
Yeah.
IMBD credits right there.
It's fair to say that if you have 200 career sacks, that you deserve your own football life by the NFL Network.
I don't know why it took almost 4 years to get it done, but yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing these for quite a bit now. I don't know how he's not at least the first season or second season.
Yeah, so going back to...
Pretty sure Vinny Testaverde has one. I don't know why Bruce Smith doesn't have one.
So going back to what you were saying about how he made those players better, would you say that he was a leader on that defense?
Yeah, he was the leader, and maybe some would argue the team over Jim Kelly.
Really? So, actually, this is kind of going back to our recent news. Kyle Williams was heard talking about Tremaine Edmonds on being kind of the vocal leader of the Bills' defense. He was quoted as saying, as far as emerging someone who hasn't been around, it would definitely be Tremaine Edmonds because of the position he plays. He's the quarterback of the defense. You tried to watch him grow and tried to bring him along last year as the season progressed. Now he's going to continue to get better, which I don't think he could have said that better. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds from his rookie season, as the season kind of went along, he looked a little timid, kind of growing into that role, and I think that vocal leadership will kind of come as time progresses. Zach, what do you think about that?
Yeah, he didn't really say anything that Buffalo Bills fans weren't already expecting. During last year's draft, when you got Josh Allen and then Tremaine Edmonds in the first round, you were really looking at the two quarterbacks of the offense and the defense there. So you were looking to these two young guys to be the vocal leader and take the reins of each side of the ball from the future, at least through the rookie contract, and hopefully they mature and kind of, go through the process of becoming, a physical on-the-field leader. So I'm excited to see what Tremaine Edmonds has to bring for, his sophomore season. And hopefully he does nothing but great things.
You see, I wish we could get Kyle Williams in this room because I would like to argue with him about that because I actually don't agree. I don't want him to be the leader right now. I want him to be a young Terrell Suggs type player. I want Lorenzo Alexander to be the leader because that's what he's literally on the team for. I want Edmonds to just go out there, tear it up, be a leader in 2 years, maybe next year when Alexander retires. I want him to just tear it up and scare teams right now. That's what I want.
And you know what? I agree with that. I want Tremaine Edmonds to be a student of the game, and I want Lorenzo Alexander being the teacher of that game. Lorenzo's been in this league for 10 plus years. He's seen every defense, seen every situation. Tremaine Edmonds hasn't, and it shows last year. He looked lost a lot. He couldn't find his assignments. So I really need Lorenzo Alexander to kind of be that teacher for him.
Yeah, I want Edmonds to follow him to the locker room, the porta potty, to the hot dog stand on the street. I want him to follow him everywhere. Just follow him, be a teacher of his game. And then in 2 years, be a leader. Right now, just scare teams.
Well, the old adage is leaders are born, not made. So time will tell whether or not Tremaine Edmonds becomes the leader of this defense. If he wants it, he'll just go ahead and take it. As you saw last year, Josh Allen missed a bunch of time, but when he did play and he was on the sidelines, there was times where he took over the whole team, got him on the sidelines, got him riled up, got him focused, and he's a born leader. We'll have to see whether or not Tremaine Edmonds can do that. He is a young guy. He's got 2 years less than Allen in just life experience, period.
Oh, he's just turning 21.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got to let the kid mature. I do understand you saying let him be a student of the game, let him fine-tune his art and his craft here.
I'm a fan of the captains are probably going to be Micah Hyde and Lorenzo. Let Tremaine not worry about that right now. Let him just have offense's game plan around him right now. Because we got Milano, who's coming back from an injury, who's probably going to be hungry for a contract. Let's just scare teams right now on that defense, because that defense has potential to be top 5.
Yeah, I just want Tremaine Edmonds to be more sure of himself. I don't want to say timid. Timid's the wrong word, but definitely not sure of what his assignments were, as I was saying. So I just want him to have more confidence in his game this year.
Yeah, that being said, I'm super stoked to see how Edmonds does. As stoked as I am to see how Allen does, Edmonds he's just got all-star written all over him.
Yeah, we're going to sit here in this room and talk about whether or not we believe Tremaine Edmonds is a leader. But Kyle Williams was a guy that was in the locker room last year. And he wouldn't have said this if he didn't actually believe that there were times where Tremaine Edmonds was the leader. So Kyle Williams saying this is a huge testimony to what Edmonds showed last year within the locker room and then on the field. So time will tell, if nothing else, on this topic. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we had a great back and forth about this, but we could talk about it all day. The proof will be in the pudding for this one,
Yeah, of course. No, definitely. Let's switch to the offensive side.
Yeah, speaking of leaps for whether or not Edmonds takes the leadership leap here, let's talk about the offense as a whole here. How much of a leap do you think the Bills' offense can take this season? I mean, they were baseline terrible last year. They were 30th for 32 in points per game and points overall, obviously, and then they were 30th to 32 in yards. Offensive yards, as well as 31st to 32 in passing yards. But there was one bright spot, and I think we all know what that was. They were 9th of the whole league in rushing yards per game, which was outstanding with 124 per game. Which, not having McCoy at his best and Chris Ivory being your second running back, that's kind of impressive.
So which is also outstanding because we haven't had a single running back of over 500 yards last year.
Exactly. So you're saying Josh Allen single-handedly attributed being 9th in the league in rushing by himself.
Well, I mean, think about it. He was the number 1 rusher on the team, so I'd have to say 110%.
Which I can't get over.
And he missed all those games, too.
Yeah, I don't want that happening this year.
I don't think the Bills do either, because they went out and they got that new offensive line. They got more running backs than running backs.
That rookie, got Yeldon.
Exactly. And then on
they
top
haven't
of that,
talked about Gore yet.
And then helping all that out, they also got on wide receivers to throw to a little bit with Beasley and John Brown, and they went out and got the tight end Tyler Kroft. So I think that the Bills are going out of their way, and they already did.
You know who else we have?
Who do we got?
Jake's boy, Lee Smith.
Oh,
welcome back to the podcast, Lee Smith.
Listen,
fans.
I'm telling you, he's a good, solid blocker. He's gonna teach Dawson Knox, man. I'm telling you.
Wow,
we need to get him on the pod.
We just broke Jake. He went from weeks and weeks and weeks.
I'm not saying he's my favorite.
I don't love Lee Smith. He just croaked out like, I love Lee Smith. He's a great blocker. He can catch. He's perfect. He's not like that guy.
He likes him as much as I like Milano.
All right, listen,
Your
man.
closet Lee Smith thing is out.
Turn on the subtitles. Please find me where I specifically said that I love Lee Smith.
I
just said he's a solid blocker and is going to be a teacher to Dawson Knox.
My guy, you sent an eggplant emoji with the headline of him signing with the Bills.
Listen, I don't think I. Oh God!
It's in the text.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break. I gotta get out of here.
Whoa!
I can't be around this.
He's under fire.
Yeah, I don't like that. But no, let's get back to serious talk.
Exactly. Yeah. So, how much of a leap do you think the Bills can take this year, Dave, on offense?
I think Josh Allen will definitely improve. The receivers he had last year are just so much better this year. On paper. Everything on paper is better.
How much of a leap, Dave?
I'm getting there. I'm
so
getting
they're
there.
at 30th now. Where can they go? Are they the top 10? Are they top 15, top 20?
My expectation is around 25-20. I don't.
So that's not much of a
I
leap,
don't
do you?
think Josh Allen jumps in the top tier of quarterbacks. I don't think he jumps in the middle tier of quarterbacks.
All right.
But I think the run game definitely improves. And I think,
improves from 9th? They're 9th in the league already. And then they got two 30-year-olds carrying the burden here.
yes, but as much as people say this is a passing league, you still need to run the ball just as much as you pass.
I couldn't disagree more. You need to win through the air.
Oh, fight about this, please. Let's go.
You cannot be... Look how terrible they were last year. They were 9th. They were top 10 last year.
6-10 record, man.
Yeah, imagine how much better we would have been if we had a running back that got close to 800 yards. Or
We had a quarterback that go almost 800 yards.
I don't want the quarterback running the ball. I want the quarterback
And
to
that's
throw the
fine.
ball.
But as a whole, the team was 9th. You need to get the ball downfield through the air.
Listeners, give us your opinion on this, please. Let us know if we should be more of
Power.
a passing team or a running team. I agree that we should pass the ball, but we need to open up the offense by running the ball.
Stop picking on me.
All right, well, listen.
Jake,
I'm going to
Jake,
give
where
you
do you
tie
think
here.
they
Break
go?
the tie.
I'll answer your question, but the biggest reason why the Buffalo Bills are going to make a huge leap this year is the offensive line. We've talked about it in the film breakdown. We've talked about it off air. The offensive line of the Buffalo Bills was the main downfall of the 2018 season. We're watching the film.
Agreed.
Everything just broke down at that level. I mean, Josh Allen's scrambles every single time were breakdowns on the offensive line.
I mean, they were horrible.
That's why LaShawn McCoy did not have a productive year.
It made Incognito crazy.
This is
He was
how bad
crazy
they were.
before that.
Listen to this, how bad they were. Jordan Mills, right? He was a starter on this team last year.
Who?
Goes to Miami. Loses his starting spot within the week past
He's
week.
the laughing stock of that OTA right now.
He lost his job in the first week
So
there.
we all agree the offensive line was a huge issue for A, running the ball, and B, protecting Josh Allen.
We had starters that can't even start on teams that are tanking. That's how bad these guys were.
I know. So with Mitch Morris, Ty Nsekhe, and all the other acquisitions, I am looking to have them help the Buffalo Bills in every asset. You're running, passing, all the kit and caboodle.
So, Dave, I just want to kind of hammer this idea home a little bit. So you're saying you want the 9th best running team in the league to be in the top 5, and then you think they'll be a playoff team?
I think if you run the ball better, it opens up the passing game. And Zach, if you take away the Josh Allen runs, we're probably the worst running team
Absolutely.
in the league.
Couldn't agree more.
100%. And why would you want your potential franchise quarterback running the ball?
Yes, lead your role with that for franchise quarterback. You don't, but you do want to move the ball. You want him to be able to
So
pass.
you take that
I
out.
want my
You
franchise
take
quarterback to throw
you
the
take
ball.
that equation out. We had zero offense last year. Zero offense.
Absolutely. Because he couldn't throw, which goes to Jake's point of the offensive line needs to improve. But also, I think they got wide receivers this year in the offseason that can help the ball be spread out a little bit. You got Robert Foster emerging last year. You have Zay Jones growing into his second year. Now he's his third year. How much better can he be now? You got John Brown coming from Baltimore, who had a great beginning of the season. Kind of got shelved once Lamar Jackson came in. Lamar Jackson?
I'm going to say something that's going to be very unfavorable.
Go ahead, say it.
I'm not even sure John Brown's going to make the team. He didn't do anything in Baltimore. He's been all hype since his Arizona days.
What?
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're
You
1,000%
are
wrong.
You are
Tell me I'm
absolutely
wrong.
wrong.
He's got speed. He's a name for Bills Mafia and other fans to say. Other than that, he's nothing.
Oh my.
Last year he had
Cole Beasley will argue that-
715 receiving yards. 715 receiving yards last year. That would have been number 1 on the Bills.
Why didn't the Ravens keep him?
They didn't because
No,
they
I'll
changed
tell you
the
what,
offense.
715. That's our standard right now. 715 receiving yards. That's our standard as Bills
After
fans.
half of the year when Lamar Jackson was at quarterback.
Lamar Jackson ran as much as Josh Allen.
Exactly. So that's points to the lack of receiving yards by John Brown. I mean, it's okay
I'm not
to
on
be
the John.
wrong.
I'm not on the John Brown train. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a mistake.
I-
Because he will immediately be one of our most veteran and talented.
Where does he fit on the depth chart right now? On your depth chart,
Either
where
one or
does he start?
two. Either one or two.
I don't agree.
He is your
And
outside
I'm sorry if
receiver.
I'm upsetting fans out there. Cole Beasley's the number 3. Pencil that in. He's the slot guy.
Oh my.
100%.
Who's number 1?
I think Foster and Zay Jones start.
Guess who led the
1 and
playoff?
2.
Guess who led
And you
the
still
playoff
have-
team Baltimore
the Bills
Ravens
still have-
in receiving yards last year?
The
Guess who
Bills
led
still
them?
have Isaiah McKenzie, who they're going to use.
They're going to cut Isaiah McKenzie. mark my words, John Brown is going to be a Isaiah McKenzie on steroids.
Guess who had the most receiving yards by a Raven last year? John Brown. Where did they finish last year in the standings? Were they in the playoffs or not?
They were in the playoffs.
I remember sitting in Vegas watching their game at like 10 in the morning. They were in the playoffs. They weren't successful in the playoffs, but they were in it. Guess who had the most receiving touchdowns by the Baltimore Ravens last year? A guy that you don't think's making our team. Help me out there, man.
I'm just not on the job. I don't care if all the speed in the world he has. I don't care for that.
Well, I hope Josh Allen does.
I'm rooting for
10
Foster and Zay Jones
separation.
outdo those numbers this year.
You know what? If they do, we win. Because if they beat out a veteran wide receiver like John Brown, we win because that means that he's the third best wide receiver who was a number one best wide receiver.
I think John Brown's been all hype since his Arizona days.
He's obviously not hype. He was the number one wide receiver on a playoff team last year.
He's been in the league 5 years, and this is his third team. Tell me why these teams aren't keeping him.
Because
he's just speed.
Because he's expendable.
All right, we'll see.
Listen, John Brown made Vontae Davis retire. Do you remember in the first half when he burnt him for a touchdown?
I absolutely remember that.
Vontae Davis retired because Vontae Davis retired. You can make all the excuses
John Brown
you want.
single-handedly
That is true.
made
You can
Vontae
make the
Davis
excuses
retire.
you want.
So, yeah, no, that's totally wrong. I mean, we're going to get rocks thrown at us, Dave.
I hope
No,
I'm
we're
wrong.
not.
I hope
No, we're
I'm
not, because only one of us
hope
are
I'm wrong. Who do you see starting this scene week 1? Who's number 1 and number 2?
John
receivers?
Brown, Zay Jones, Cole Beasley.
Where's Foster in that?
Number 4. What a
Easy.
great problem that we have 4 great
He's
wide
an
receivers.
undrafted first-year player.
And you know what? He might beat out Zay Jones.
I hope I'm proven wrong. You guys should hope Zay Jones tears it up this year. And is
We
the
are a
number one
pro Zay
receiver.
Jones podcast, and we will stand by that. But if we need to be a pro Robert Foster podcast, we will be. We're a pro wide receiver podcast.
We're going to be a pro whoever wins this football games podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
That's who I root for. Winners. And that's why I like Josh Allen. Is he a franchise quarterback yet? No. But he is a winner. That's for damn sure. I'm not a huge Kyle Williams stan because he wasn't a winner, yet he was a defensive tackle, but he was a winner, that's for damn sure.
We're just a pro Buffalo Bills podcast.
We love
and
the
that's
Bills.
all that matters.
We love
What
the
about
Bills.
David Stills, who everyone's been chatting up like
He's gotta get out of
like he's
camp.
been proven in the league?
Who?
Exactly.
he's gotta get out of
I'm
camp.
agreeing with you. Who?
Oh, my God. June is terrible. Get me to training camp.
We need a yes.
Get us to training camp so we can go here, go to Rochester, watch these guys, and then we can argue a bitch about what happened.
Let us know what you think, guys. Please give us your feedback on this.
Yeah,
also,
guys, let us know how bad David's take is right here.
let me know if anyone agrees with me out there.
You know
Anyone.
what? How about this? Let's tell it
Bueller?
like this. In the comments or email us, because you'll see our email right here on the top of the screen, bottom of the screen, side of the screen. I don't know where we're putting it yet. But let us know the depth chart of the wide receivers. Where do you guys have these guys standing?
You just comment. You ask for Dave's phone number. I'll give it to you. You tell him how wrong he is.
Keep in mind when you do this, Andre Roberts is going to make the team, so he is penciled in as a receiver.
Yeah, it's 6.
Bills probably keep 6 receivers.
And that's fine. I hope they keep 8 receivers. They were 30th in the league last year.
You gotta remember,
and receiving.
you can't do that because the Bills already have 4 running backs on team that are going to stay unless McCoy's out.
They brought back Deontay Thompson last year for a stint. They had fat Kelvin Benjamin in this team. They need receivers. We are talking about good problems right now. They'll take anything. This isn't even the point. We were trying to see how good their offense is going to be.
I miss Biscuit Boy.
Biscuit Boy.
Kelvin Benjamin.
You know what?
Psych.
Everyone wants to tear that guy down. I just remember that awesome catch he made in the national championship game as a Florida State Seminole.
Speaking of Kelvin Benjamin, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving. You got anything for me, Zach?
Yes, I got something for you. A Prima Pizza lunch special. Available every day from Monday through Saturday, of course, because they're closed on Sundays. On the corner of Pearl and West Chippewa, Prima Pizza is your best place to stop for lunch when you're downtown.
Oh, they've been doing it over 40 years, huh?
Yeah, they are the Prima choice for over 40
What's
years.
the pizza choice there? What do you prefer if I go there tomorrow?
Oh, my God. I'm being dead honest. Every time I go there, I get the white pizza. Excuse my friend. It's fucking phenomenal.
Well, all pizza matters, but
Kevin throws the pizza slice right in there for you, and oh my God, the white pizza is just delectable as
Listen,
hell. It's not the most traditional, but their white pizza is unbelievable.
I've had their calzones before. Whew, those were fantastic. Those were so good.
okay, all right, I'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah, you come stop by whenever. Open at 11 a.m. and closed at 11.
11 to
PM.
11. Great hours.
Make
Delish. Oh, I beat you to it, didn't I?
Who
did.
are we meeting today, Zach? Who are we meeting?
Oh, it is time to meet the coach of the week. We're doing the drum things lately. I like that. We got Kelly Skipper. He is our running backs coach. Working with McCoy, Frank Gore, TJ Yeldon, and the laundry list of running backs. I've still got 5 more to name, but I'm not. But we got Kelly Skipper here. His dad, John Skipper, is currently the running backs coach for the Carolina Panthers. There's always a connection to the Carolina Panthers. I think that's kind of what we're figuring out here recently. It's his second year with the Bills, and before the Bills, he was with the Jags. Do you guys got any connections here? Running back?
Oh,
Jags.
TJ Yeldon.
He was the running backs coach when they drafted TJ Yeldon.
So TJ Yeldon, I mean, you kind of have to assume he's going to have a bigger role in this offense than we once thought, huh?
Yeah, you don't think that they bring him back without the knowledge, without using the knowledge that Kelly Skipper had when they first drafted him and then being with him as a rookie. Kelly Skipper had to be within the year of Brandon Beane and Sean
When he was
McDermott.
with Skipper in Jacksonville, he used him out wide a lot too, so that will help the Bills a lot.
Yeah, I'm all for the most Yeldon as possible. But back to Skipper here. Well, he was with the Raiders from 2007 to 2014. That's a long time to be with one team. So really good for Kelly Skipper here. I'm happy he's with the Bills, and I mean he was with the Bills with the 10K chase for LaShawn McCoy, and I mean he knows what a good offensive line looks like, and he knows what a bad offensive line looks like. So hopefully he can get these running backs into shape, and he's got plenty of talent and experience in the backfield this season.
He has veterans and rookies to work with this year.
I know Frank Gore might teach him a thing or two with all that experience.
So this is our 6th coach of the week here. So now we're 6 deep. I have a question for you guys.
Oh,
Who's your favorite coach over the last 20 years for the Bills? Dave, who's yours?
I would have to go with Jim Schwartz. I was a huge fan. The way his defensive line just always pressured the quarterback. Almost broke records in sacks for the Bills that year.
Yeah, he was gifted an incredible defensive line there. And, I mean, that defense almost broke records on takeaways and sacks.
Agreed.
you know what? I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Sean McDermott is my favorite Buffalo Bills coach in the last 20 years. He's brought this team to new heights. Over the past 20 years, have the Bills made the playoffs? Crickets. No, they haven't. Sean McDermott is the savior of this Buffalo Bills team, Buffalo Bills organization, Buffalo as a city. Greatest coach of all time. Marv Levy, you're out. Sean McDermott, you're in.
Pump the brakes. Don't disrespect Marv Levy.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, boys.
All right, let me right this ship a little bit. I think everyone's a little recency bias here the last 5-6 years. How about a name Perry Fuel? You guys remember him?
For like 3 weeks?
No, he was the interim coach for about 3 weeks, but he was with the team as the defensive coordinator for 3 whole years, 4 seasons there. And, he, in the 2008 season, he had the Bills defense playing like none other. He was ranked 2nd in the AFC in negative yardage plays and recorded 7 games of holding opposing offenses to less than 100 rushing yards. Now, Dave, that probably irks you a little bit. I know your team rushing running backs here. But he finished 4th in the NFL in red zone defense that season. That was a good defensive coordinator, and I honestly was with everyone else that season that he deserved the head coaching position. Now, he never really got back into the head coaching ranks, went back to the New York Giants, was the defensive coordinator there.
Mm-hmm.
His 2nd season with the Giants, Super Bowl. Him as a defensive coordinator beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 2011. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he had practice going up with the Patriots twice a year, so that probably helped him.
Yeah, and he was mildly successful against the Patriots every now and then. You guys want to know where he is now?
Where is he at?
Where's Perry Fuel now? He is a defensive backs coach where it always links back to this team, boys. The Carolina Panthers. It always links back to the Panthers.
So wait, no one wants to mention Doug Marrone?
No, fuck that guy.
He likes bologna sandwiches.
Vehemently, fuck that guy.
I actually don't mind bologna sandwiches.
Yeah, not the way Doug Marrone does, though.
Oh, what the hell?
Hot take.
Well, that's
a good way to wrap up this podcast. Thank you guys for listening to another week of Madmensports. Next week we kind of want to freestyle a little bit. Will you guys do us a favor and email us with a topic you want us to talk about for next week's podcast? It's the dog days of summer now. We want to kind of, get you guys involved a little bit, and we want to, get some fresh takes and hear some new topics that maybe we haven't thought of, and you want to hear some Bills guys talk about. And also, we decided that you guys should have a good week. Enjoy your week. June's here. Summer's here, actually. I mean, it's hot. I'm red.
Yeah, could you imagine if you didn't tell them that? They would all have bad weeks. So thank you, Zach.
Hey, let me be the first to tell you to have a great week. Go get 'em, boys and girls.